Here's what's ahead on this episode of Inside HCSO. Our dive team makes a splash for safety. The roof was no place to hide, and there's a reason we have the move over law for first responders. Hello and welcome. I'm Major Chad Chronister. Let's go inside HCSO. When we got a tip that 3 people were seen on the roof of a Winn-Dixie on Fowler Avenue, our patrol deputies and our aviation unit got busy. Our helicopter quickly spotted the trio, who tried to hide from the eye in the sky. With help from Hillsborough Fire Rescue and their ladder, deputies made their way to the top. Following directions from the helicopter pilot, deputies put these 3 in handcuffs.
And then goes direct north, and they're going to be right at the edge of the building right there, right at the edge of the roof.
And just what were they doing on the roof of a grocery store? One of the trio told us they just love to climb things.
All right, they got their hands up, and the deputies are coming in contact.
We ask our dogs and deputies in our K-9 unit to do a lot of stuff in a lot of places, so we always want to keep an eye on them. Check this out.
I use a beacon on the dog. Every time I track, I turn it on and I use it so air service has an easy way to identify me and the dog when we're out there tracking. It's primarily used at nighttime when we're out tracking or doing anything with the dog and aviation's involved.
Obviously we have a lot of tools here in the aircraft, but for tracking purposes, when the TFO is actually operating the camera and he's watching the heat source of the canine handler and the dog, it allows me, while I'm flying the aircraft, to look through my night vision goggles and pick up that beacon and know exactly where they are so that I can set my orbits and hopefully lock our bad guy down so the dog does his job and catches him. And so it's a good source of reference for me.
Our dive team keeps their rescue skills sharp by jumping out of helicopters on purpose. Here's more.
We have a program going, it's called Rescue Diver. It's to initiate if there's any kind of need for us to be out somewhere to get there rapidly. We work with aviation a lot. Find a landing zone, pick up a couple divers either in life jackets or full gear like we were doing today. There's water everywhere in the county, and for us to drive, we work in a rescue mode as well. We have all of our gear with us. For us to drive, say, to South County could take us 45 minutes, even going lights and siren. In a helicopter, we can be there within minutes. So those jumps we were doing were probably about 15 to 18 feet. Pilot knows when to come down, when to hover, and then that's when they give the signal for us to go. But usually it's between about 10 to 15, maybe even 18 feet, depending on the circumstances. To go at the same time, we have hand signals that we know when to stand up, when to get on the skid, and then when to go. And the dive master, or the jump master, who is a diver, will be there communicating directly with the pilot and letting us know when to go, when the most safest time for us to go, for our safety as well as the pilot's safety.
Move over. It's a simple message for motorists when they approach first responders on the side of the road. And it's the law, and it's a good one. Please watch.
A Sunday afternoon where I was on an off-duty capacity, actually going to church. As a fundraiser for the Catholic Church, found an individual standing in the center meeting on the dividers, got him off the rails, got him secured, and had a MARC unit come up to the point where we were at. In a blink of an eye, turned around, and there I was facing a 3,000-pound car just coming right at me. Didn't have time just to even do anything but just grab a hold of the other deputy that was there on scene, and we went over the barricades. What we ended up having was, no one was luckily injured. The only person that had minor scrapes was the other deputy to his arms. I was a little, dirty a little bit just from the whole catastrophe. The lady that actually struck our vehicle, she was uninjured. And luckily, the gentleman that we had already secured in the backseat of the patrol vehicle was not injured as well. When you see first responders with their emergency vehicles and their lights activated, I'd like you to slow down, move over, and give us another day to serve and protect.
Our cadets go through some of the toughest training before Sheriff G says they are deputies. Part of their curriculum includes what we call final practical exercises. Let's take a look.
Well, today the cadets were going in through what we call their final culminating event for their final practical exercises. And what they were doing is they were responding out to a shots fired call, which eventually they come on scene and determine that there's a deceased individual inside the house. They got to think through, make some critical decisions, and think through what they're going to do next. Call backup. They're required to clear the house and manage the scene there. Once they get here and they start figuring out what's going on, there's a few witnesses that they find that have information, and they quickly learn that there's additional suspects that have left the house, and there's an additional crime scene once they start piecing everything together. When we have critical things like this going on and we have basically a real exciting event for them to go through, it's going to trigger their memory. When they get out on scene of a real event, they'll remember that distraught wife when they see a wife crying or hysterical, and then it'll start to bring back the memories of what they learned how to do out here in FPs.
Be sure to check out what is happening at HCSO 24/7 on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and our website. We are already working on the next episode of Inside HCSO, so be sure to check back soon. And check out our Staying Safe segment every week on Fox 13 Tampa Bay. It airs Thursdays between the 6:30 and 7 a.m. hour. Until next time, stay safe, Hillsborough County.